It's funny. The things that really threaten our well-being, our sense of self, they're usually not the big, loud, dramatic moments. Nope. They're the quiet patterns that we just kind of tolerate day in and day out. Today, we're going to break down what the source material calls a silent collapse, and more importantly, what's actually fueling it. Right? We're always looking for that one thing, that single big event to explain why we feel stuck or just drained. But this quote highlights a really crucial truth. The reality is usually so much quieter. It's more of a slow burn, not some sudden explosion. So, what exactly is this silent collapse? Well, the source material defines it as this slow, steady wearing away of the things that make you feel like you. It's your clarity, your energy, your trust in yourself. And the scariest part, it happens so quietly that it just becomes your new normal. You don't even realize the weight you're carrying until the damage is already done. So let's look at what's really contributing to it. All right, first up, and this one is a huge one, the people we surround ourselves with. Their impact on our energy is absolutely profound, but it's something we often completely underestimate. And here's the thing. The real danger isn't the obvious villains, the people who are clearly toxic. Those folks are pretty easy to spot and avoid. The real drain, the one that sneaks up on you, comes from these familiar faces. It's that friend whose conversations are always a one-way street of drama, or that family member who, after every chat, leaves you feeling just a little bit smaller, a little bit heavier. And the effect of this stuff, it really adds up. Each little interaction might seem like no big deal, but over time, it's like a slow leak in a tire. It puts your nervous system on this constant low-grade alert. It chips away at your confidence. And suddenly, even simple tasks just feel so much harder than they should. The bottom line is this. Your emotional energy is a finite resource, and you've got to protect it. But look, it's not just about what's happening on the outside. The stories we tell ourselves, our own internal narratives, can be just as draining, if not more so. I love this reframe because it is so incredibly powerful. How many times have we beaten ourselves up for procrastinating, just calling ourselves lazy? But the source argues it's often something else entirely: avoidance anxiety. It's not that your brain is being lazy, it's that it's trying to protect you from the discomfort, the fear of potential failure or judgment that you've attached to that task. And this is where it gets really nasty. It creates this vicious feedback loop. So you feel uncomfortable about a task, so you avoid it. You get that little hit of temporary relief, but then the guilt and the stress start to build up, which makes the task seem even bigger and more intimidating. All that rising cortisol just reinforces the paralysis, and the cycle starts all over again. It completely erodes your trust in your own ability to get things done. And then there's the other side of this story's coin. We cling to these old, outdated identities. I work best under pressure is a classic one. I mean, maybe you really did work best under pressure back in college, but does that story still serve you now, or has it just become a convenient excuse to keep procrastinating? So what happens is when who you are today has grown and changed, but the story you tell yourself about who you are hasn't caught up, you create this incredible internal friction. You end up burning enormous amounts of energy just trying to stay consistent with an old version of yourself. And that, right there, leads to exhaustion and a whole lot of self-doubt. Okay, let's look at another huge piece of this puzzle: the constant, nonstop noise in our modern world. I'm talking about both the noise from our own thoughts and the endless information we consume. It can seriously fragment our focus and our peace. So what exactly is mental clutter? Well, it's all those little things, right? All those open loops running in the background of your mind. It's that text you need to answer, the decision you still haven't made, that great idea you had that you never bothered to write down. Every single one of them takes up a little bit of your mental bandwidth. And check this out. There's a real biological reason this is so draining. Neuroscience shows us that your brain actually treats every single one of these unfinished tasks as an active threat that it needs to keep track of. So it keeps them buzzing around in your working memory, which elevates your stress hormones. This is exactly why you can feel completely and utterly overwhelmed even when you're just sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing. Your brain is still on. And that brings us right to overconsumption. It is so easy to just keep scrolling, keep listening, keep watching. But there's a critical difference between passively consuming information and actively integrating it.
Overconsumption is just numbing. We're just letting it wash over you. But integration, where you reflect, you apply, you actually think deeply about something, that's active and restorative. Constantly consuming just weakens our attention and disconnects us from our own inner voice.
So, with all these quiet drains working against us, what's the solution? Well, it's actually not some huge, complicated plan. It starts with something much simpler and much more powerful, just awareness. Because you have to remember this one thing. This collapse, it doesn't happen with a bang. It's what you tolerate day after day. The silent collapse is built from all those small things you allow into your life. The draining chats, the old stories, the mental clutter you never clear out. It's the cumulative weight of what we tolerate that eventually brings us down.
So the real question to leave you with is this one. As you look at these different pillars, the people around you, the stories you tell yourself, the noise in your head, which one of them do you think is quietly at work in your own life, eroding your foundation? Because just asking that question, just becoming aware of it, that is the first and most powerful step you can possibly take.